How was it being famous?
You pull up, they don't care.
Paparazzi,
Paparazzi,
bro.
They don't care. Because there's the main
it'll
stage
just
and there's the
be-
beast.
And the groups is bond.
Yeah, bro. It just
It's like
bonds.
being like, oh, I hope them man like them. You're doing that show at the O2, yeah? Not a lot of people are going to get to experience that. So tell me how it felt the day after. You've gone from performing at, I would say, the most iconic venue in the UK. The reason why I ask is because you guys are normally used to being in a studio environment. You know, it's very different to a lot of other live performers where, you know, for myself, I do work in progress, so I'm going to see the crowd. But then you do O2, it's just multiplied. But you guys are normally in the studio. You're not always getting that interaction from the thing you said.
Yeah.
You might be getting it online, but it's a little bit different to a live arena.
For me, it wasn't even the next day. It was the night of. Like,
Okay.
it finished around, let's say, after party, like midnight-ish, 1 o'clock. I think I was awake till about 4 a.m. on TikTok.
It's the adrenaline,
Yeah,
innit?
the adrenaline,
It's
bro.
mad, innit?
I was watching people's stories and it made me realize, oh, wow, we just done the O2. Because I've said this to James, I've said this to many people before, I will never see myself perform.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see what a show actually looks like to the audience and blah, blah, blah. So
Came out
actually,
your show, though.
Huh?
Came out your show.
I did. And it's funny because it was literally the day before the O2. I was watching Kevin Hart's Mark Twain thing on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
it was showing his journey of where he started and where he's gotten to and how he belongs here. And I was thinking, I think after watching that, it gave me such a mental shift. Like, even though when the O2 was introduced to us, I thought, that's a big feat. But when we actually got there,
Did it feel possible?
when
When
it was brought to us, I would say it was a bit of a jump. I'm not gonna lie to you. Considering the
100%,
considering the theatre/arenas we had done before, not even arenas, they were like 2,000 max, 2,500, you know. So to go from
Not even that, bro.
yeah, to 1,200. Yeah, 1,200. Yeah.
You're leaping.
Sorry, 1,200. My bad. I was adding up. 1,200. Yeah. So going from that.
I was agreeing. Yeah.
So going from that to like circa 15,000, it's like I never thought that would be a possible feat. But the more and more, the closer and closer we got to the day, the more and more I actually like sat and reminisced in that moment. I was like, damn, we actually do belong here. The fact that it sold out before we actually started the show, I was like,
Before you step on stage.
yeah,
It's a
before you
mad
step, like
feeling, innit?
we clearly belong here.
Yeah,
and I think that settled my nerves a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like, let me actually be me and let me just be in my element. So yeah, going back to what you said, after the fact, scrolling through TikTok, I was like, wow, actually seeing the responses, seeing our performance from different angles, and just soaking it all in and be like, this was amazing and this was incredible. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. For like the whole week, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a very good high.
I always look at that time that's so crucial when you're like between 17 and 21. Those friends you're going to meet, that's your friends for life. It's such an interesting period. I could probably say 16, because even some of my friends now, is until after we left school, we became so much more closer.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like my friends for life. And I've still made friends after that journey. But when I look at that 16 to 21 time, it's like you're finding yourself, who you are. And you might even see how one of your other friends talks to girls and you're like, oh, right, like, he's got good riz, man.
Yeah.
I can take out a leaf from his book and stuff. What was your time like at uni? Because it's such a, I feel like we went around the same time. Hearing from your experiences, you guys I feel like that kind of funky house era was the time. Yeah. So I think it was around the same time.
Yeah.
What was your experiences at that time of uni? Because did it feel like you had each other? So at least when you're studying, you're like, I've got this friend that I can connect with at the same time.
So
Do you know what I mean?
it was a blessing because, like James said, me, James, and Rem, who you've met, all study the same course. So we'd see each other pretty much 5 days a week. I have a friend called Toby who introduced into our friendship group that I've known for a very, very long time. And Rem has a friend called Jacob who he introduced to us. So all 5 of us kind of linked up. And
Oh, that's what me and my brother's done.
You see what I'm saying?
That's how I'm friends with Chike and stuff like that. It's like when the Ninja Turtles meet the Power Rangers. Yeah. And the groups just bond.
Yeah, bro. It just
it's like
bonds.
being like, oh, I hope them man like them.
Yeah, because it's always pressure. It's pressure. You never know.
does jokes.
But the
Wow.
funniest thing is we bonded through music and dance.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
literally.
100%.
Yes,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
said,
yeah,
funky
yeah,
era.
yeah.
Every time we'd go out, we're like, this is a banger. And then we just all break out and start dancing. And it was one of them ones where we couldn't help it. Yeah.
That's so sick. It's so interesting hearing that from another friendship group. Because sometimes I always sit there, because we got a big friendship group. But also it's like I had my group of friends, and then I met with, me and Chike became closer friends, who you guys know.
Yeah.
And then his friends became my friends. And now we've just got the extended pack. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting as you get older how like some people might also branch off and do their thing.
For sure.
And you're like, right, let's all, you jumping in, man? Like, yeah. Like, what, you don't like
Oh, jeez. Yeah, man. To be fair as well, we got lucky with our friendship because we had that core 5 unit. But then like afterwards, obviously Jacob went off, went off to do his music. Toby moved to Nigeria for years, and it was just like me, you, and Rem was just 3 of us. And that was like the key moment where like you thought, oh, them man are just doing their thing and they're not really about it anymore. But somehow, as soon as we left, all of us, like, it's like religion almost, and just like no one's branching off anywhere, no matter what you're doing. It always comes.
Core.
Yeah, this is the core 5, and like, we're not having it. You have to come back.
Facts.
And it's stayed that way for like 15 years now.
Yeah, best part.
So do you feel that when you have a friendship group like that, and let's say one person in that group is doing something where they're becoming successful in their own right, does it feel like there's a pressure that was like, we kind of want to do something? Because we're hearing about these stories, isn't it? We're hearing about you're going to this place on tour and you're going to this event. Does that give you a sense of pressure to be like, we want to do something that's also cool in that space so we have a place? Or does it kind of feel like, oh, I see that person doing a thing that's inspired me to now do our thing? Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I think, yes, like, I think in our group with Jacob in particular, it was really techie. Because he was a musician and that's a talent, it was hard to see that he was doing something it was impressive to obviously see that like he's broken out and he's doing something, but always like you have that, and everyone's their own worst enemy anyway. So it's so easy to convince yourself that like, oh, well, he can sing, I can't sing. So if I can't sing, then there's no point even dreaming.
100%.
But once
Dreaming.
there's no point dreaming. But one thing I will say is once we did start the show, we had no aspirations of anything.
Yeah.
We just wanted to like do it and do it well and like have fun with it. But it was actually him who was like calling me up and be like, you need to be ready for this. This is gonna happen and this is gonna happen.
Okay.
And then it was like that was the confirmation of being like, raw, this bro knows what he's on about. And he's like, yeah, this is gonna, and it actually pretty much has patterned exactly how he said it was going to. But yeah, I remember he was like, I've just listened to like 3 episodes on the trot, like, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen. Raw. I remember that day my heart was racing like, oh, rah.
It's not something we planned out. When we started the pod, it's not something we planned out for whatsoever. It was just 1, bonding, 2, let's just see where it takes us. And then we got to a stage where we wanted it to be, okay, let's quit our jobs now. But post that, there was no like goals,
So
of course. it just spiraled from there.
How's it being famous? Because you guys might not feel it, because I think sometimes when you're in it, and for someone to say, I remember when someone said that to me, I'm like, bro, I'm not famous, bro. I just do fucking, I don't know, do geezer things and mess around and stuff. But the reason why I asked that question, because you guys were at the premiere the other day, innit? The House of Dragons thing.
Yeah.
And you're doing up red carpet. When you do red carpet, you are famous now, whether you like it or not. And not to say you've done stuff before, but people are always going to associate you with your podcast. And, when they introduce you, you're like, oh, we've got Shxts and Gigs here all the way from, from the UK to sold out the O2 Arena. How are you dealing with that side of your life?
That's a good question.
I will say that before we get into the famous thing, it's funny. I actually, because you mentioned the premiere the other day. So like over the last we've gone on to a lot of premieres over the last like 2.5, 3 years or whatever. Yeah. And it's been one thing I did clock, especially going to that House of Dragon one the other day. There's different stages of fame in terms of invitations to these premieres.
Of course.
100%.
And like, it's been crazy from the first time we got invited. The first time you get there, you kind of pull up, someone gives you a ticket like round a back alley somewhere, and then like no one's interested.
So some random woman goes, hi there, how's it going? So basically, there's your passes. They have a drinks reception at 8 o'clock. Make sure you're there. Follow me. We're gonna do pictures.
Yeah,
And like you'll
yeah.
see someone. Hey, you man, let me get. Sorry, we don't have time.
Yeah, bro.
We don't have time.
Literally.
Yeah. I've got them. Yeah, stand over there. You're like, okay, I'll stand
Yeah.
here. What do I do? So let me know what that first stage is like for you guys.
So first stage was like you get the email from your manager, you're invited to this premiere, like, oh sick, and then you dressed like to the nines, like tuxedo.
Yeah, it's your
everything
first one, yeah.
And bro, they like you pull up, they don't care.
Yeah.
Bro. I'm sure no one
They
cares, bro.
don't care.
And then they make you take. If you want a picture, bro, you better use your own phone.
Yeah.
Because the Paps man would put, bro, the Paps would
Please,
they put the
down.
camera down. The Paps are horrible, bro. They'll put the camera down.
And that's when I realized there's levels to Paps.
Yeah.
There's levels to
There's
where you take your
levels
pics.
to paparazzi,
Yeah,
bro.
they don't care.
They don't care.
Because there's the
I thought it
main
was
stage
just
and there's the
me.
B stage.
They put you on the B stage.
you on the B
with the little
stage.
cutout,
Yeah,
dragging
yeah.
behind you. Paparazzi
Yeah.
will put the camera down and they'll look up like this.
Like you don't
And,
exist.
and you're like, all right. And then the lady's like, do you want me to take a picture of you? And you're like, oh, bro, okay.
Might as well.
And then, like, it's so crazy going from that and then it's like getting. Yeah, bro. It's horrible. And then to be to go to this one the other day, because it's also been it's been a while since we went to one as well.
Yeah, true.
To go to this one the other day, and you're like, right, there's a lady chaperoning you through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then like there's people in the queue ready to take pictures, and then she's like, "You're next." And then like you skip the queue, you skip this. Everyone wants to take a picture, and you're
There's
like,
someone in the queue sometimes.
"Yeah, bro."
Oh,
It's dread, and then you're like, "Oh, right, there's levels now."
Yeah,
Like we've gone from
yeah.
like the shitty part where no one cares to now like they're stopping the queue for people who are about to get their
When the
picture
Paps
taken.
say your name.
Yeah, bro.
bad.
Even
James
when you
over here,
sit.
James.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, how do you know my name? Yeah.
Yeah,
Even when you
yeah,
sit
of
in the
course.
cinema itself. Like,
even when you
yeah.
sit, bro.
When we sat for House of the Dragons, like, well, this is Shxts.
Yeah,
This is Shxts.
yeah.
And then you realize, oh wow, there's levels to it.
Mm.
And outside being an actor, to be like, oh, this is like the top level outside of being actually like part of the cast.
Yeah,
of course.
true.
And I was thinking, in terms of like your question about fame and stuff, I was like, damn. But it was nice. It was nice to actually go through that process.
Yeah.
Because now watching other people that are like I see on like TikTok or social media or whatever, and I'm thinking, oh, you're at the stage that we were 2 years ago when no
of
one
course.
cared. And I can see how gassed you are to even be here. And it's like, oh, that's so sick, man. That's actually so sick.
It's going to be a good journey for them.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
for you, bro.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even realize we were slumming it.
Yeah. At the time.
As we were
Because we're
slumming
just
it.
gas.
You think everyone's going through that stage?
Yeah.
I remember going to the GQ they have the GQ Men of the Year awards. First time going, and you've got like the people who are like, Mo, can we get a picture? And I'm like, yeah. And then there's a few Paps taking pictures, and then there's this roar, and everyone's like, ah! And I was like, right, calm down. I'll make my way to everyone.
Yeah.
And then the press are all taking pictures. Like, I read. I'm like, right, boy, I'm really doing something.
Yeah.
Bro, David Beckham was behind me, bro. Oh my God,
There's
man.
that level.
Brother,
There's that level.
I went from like signing someone's thing, and then someone's like, I was like, do you want to sign? Someone's like, no, sorry. David. I was like,
yeah, it's...
but you know what? I think like it's a beautiful, humbling experience because it's like that's your ego playing its role of like, oh, right, like I'm here, I've made it to the place. I feel like the man. And then someone else comes and you're like, okay, he's actually him.
Yeah.
He's really the man.
I remember being there and I was like, you know what? That's David Beckham.
Yeah.
I can't even I want to get a picture of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.